Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Mayday Network. I'm Michelle Kinney. I'm here with my good friend, Julie Roginski. It is Monday, July 6th. I'm here in a very rainy New York City, as I know Julie is as well. That's why we're actually had to change the time and push back about 30 minutes because Julie got caught in the rain. Julie, how you doing today?
I'm good. I've been all over. I've been to every borough of New York, including Staten Island, and I accomplished
impressive.
it all before 9 o'clock this morning.
That's
not every borough, but I've been to, except for the Bronx. I've been to every borough.
yeah, close enough. That's
Close.
impressive.
Yes, I found a piece of art that I really, really loved online, and this woman is on Staten Island, so it was huge. So I had to drive over there to get it, but she had to go to work by 8 a.m., so I had to be there by like 7:45. I had to shove it into my car, barely move it in. Then I had to. It was a whole process. Anyway,
listen, to have a car and also Facebook Marketplace are two very amazing things that I wish I had, and that's amazing because you know what, Facebook Marketplace, guys, if you don't know about it, get into it because
It's so good. You get so many good things.
So
before that, by 6:45 a.m., I had to be on the Upper East Side because I found a beautiful tufted bench, like an entryway bench,
nice.
for my hallway that I got for next to nothing from Facebook Marketplace. So I had to go pick that up and that was a little bit more complicated because that was a doorman building. They were not happy.
Oh yeah, you gotta whole thing.
It doesn't matter. The point is I'm here, I'm back, my hair is semi-dry, and I'm ready to talk FIFA and corruption.
Yes, let's talk FIFA. Because guys, if you haven't noticed, there's a World Cup going on in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. It is, I don't even know how to say. You walk down the street in New York City, almost every bar's got it on. People are outside, they're screaming. Everyone's very happy because New York City, I guess like a lot of other cities, have people from all over the world who are not only rooting for the United States, but their home countries as well. So
it's wonderful.
It's wonderful. It's great. And really, honestly, off the heels of the Knicks win and everything, it's been a really lovely feeling of community, at least in New York. I can't speak for everyone else, but that's what it's been like. And I think I mentioned the other day that I'm married to someone who played soccer and who's my sister-in-law played Division I, big soccer family. I played soccer in high school. Julie, I know that your kiddo plays soccer. So like, I feel like everyone's got sort of an in soccer world to understand.
Yeah, and not only does my kid play soccer, he somehow miraculously understands the offsides rule in soccer, which makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to anybody.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's like not
weird.
Normal offsides rule.
Yeah.
It's like special offside rule.
Congrats to England, by the way. That was quite a game yesterday. And congrats to France, Allez les Bleus, because they barely won. And thanks to Paraguay playing kind of dirty. But anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, everybody is very excited. I have been to Boston during the World Cup. I stayed in a hotel in Boston during the World Cup, and it was wonderful. We stayed there for basically a week to watch first the Scots and then the English. And then I think the French were coming in after the English. Anyway, the point is, like, the entire city, much like New York City, was just so into the World Cup and welcome to the United States. And we're so happy you're here and that you're safe in a country that is not always welcoming or safe for people from other countries. So, Michelle, that brings us to what's going on now.
So yeah, that's what brings us to what's going on now. So before we kind of get into it, so if you can imagine, and I'll just give the headline here. There was an American player that was thrown out for, some people think, a controversial red card call. Some people think it was fine. Some people don't think it's fine. But Trump decided to insert himself into this already very corrupt organization in order to reverse the ruling, which is like unprecedented. These are things that do not happen. I think they've only happened like one other time in like 1960 something or whatever. But I just want to say just really quick, on a personal note, I used to love football. Like, I'm talking about American football. I watched American football all the time. And then I saw a special on Frontline called League of Denial. And I saw how the NFL was in its own way very corrupt in covering up a concussion crisis that was literally killing football players, and not only not educating the public about this, but not educating the players themselves. And some of these players, as young as like high school or even before then, are getting these concussions and this disease called CTE. That is, these players are literally losing their minds. And by the way, this does affect football, soccer players as well, but more so in American football. And when I saw that, I no longer felt that I could enjoy the sport. And for that reason is why I like personally don't watch American football as much anymore, because I feel awful about it. Now, FIFA, on the other hand, is an international organization, um, and they oversee the World Cup, obviously, and they have their own history of corruption. And I just want to play. There is a 4-part docuseries on Netflix, which I invite everyone to go watch. It is about the foundation of FIFA and its history of corruption. And I'm just going to play the trailer for this really quick, just to kind of give you a peek in.
Sepp Blatter was the godfather of football.
Being a member of FIFA is like being in the secret garden. There's an unspoken code. You can do whatever you want.
They wanted to be a force for good.
The lines between right and wrong blurs.
Wire fraud, money laundering,
racketeering,
tax evasion.
FIFA became a criminal organization.
Mr. Blatter!
You're looking at 75 years in jail.
You are innocent until declared guilty.
FIFA will feel a tsunami coming. Trust me, you haven't seen it yet.
Qatar!
This is the World Cup of fraud.
Our business is our business.
Greed and politicking and backstabbing.
FIFA is under fire.
It's the biggest sports corruption scandal we've ever had.
The impacts go to every corner of the planet.
No comments, no comments. No comment.
Can I ask you how?
Do these people really care about the game?
There were people I knew quite well that had just been arrested.
Where is my security?
If one of us is corrupt, we all are.
Let's go FIFA! Let's go FIFA!
Now you have created a monster.
So I invite people to go watch that to give you some history into the corruption of this organization. Which leads us to now. Now, Julie, I remember last summer, right? The head of FIFA came to the Oval Office, right? And like brought the trophy, and like Trump wanted to keep the trophy. And then there was this, they decided to give him, since he didn't get the Nobel Peace Prize, the head of FIFA decided to give Donald Trump his own little peace prize. It's lovely. Oops.
Welcome the very first winner of the FIFA Peace Prize, the 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Mr. Donald J. Trump. Please. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this is your prize. This is your Peace Prize. There is also a beautiful medal for you that you can wear everywhere you want to go.
Grabs it.
Right, okay, let me hold.
Puts it on.
Look at it. He's like, let me hold it. No, you put it on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it on myself. So, okay, so we get the point there. And then last summer, when it was being discussed in the Oval Office, kind of like what's going to go on, because obviously Putin is in trouble for all the reasons, because he's the worst. This is said.
And I was just sent a picture from somebody that wants to be there very badly. He's been very respectful of me and of our country, but not so respectful of others. But he'll, I'm going to sign this for him, but I was sent one, and I thought you'd all like to see it. That's a man named Vladimir Putin, who I believe will be coming, depending on what happens. He may be coming and he may not, depending on what happens. We have a lot of things happening over the next couple of weeks. But I thought it was a nice picture of him.
Okay.
Very respectful of me and of my country. He's been not very respectful of Trump. If Trump ever watched Russian TV, he'd see how much they trash him. But he's certainly not been respectful of our country insofar as he did everything possible to steal the 2016 election for Donald Trump and succeeded, and then continued. And by the way, continued to do that. Anyway.
Yeah. So I want everyone to like see that, be reminded of that, give some background as we get into the story, because it all really very much matters. So what happened? So the US men's national team striker, everybody calls him Flo Balogun, Balogun.
Balogun,
right?
Balogun,
Yeah.
I think. Yep.
Received a controversial red card for an accidental challenge on Bosnia and Herzegovina defender, Tariq, Jesus, please, Julie.
Bosnia and Herzegovina, and the defender is Tariq Muharemovic.
Yep, during the round of 32 match. While falling, Balogun's foot caught underneath other guy's ankle. After a VAR review, the referee deemed it a red card offense. So that happened, and obviously this guy, Flo, is like the best player on the US team. So,
well, I think Christian Pulisic would have an issue with that, but he is
one of the better.
Yes, he's a striker. He's a striker, and he's a very aggressive goal scorer. Right. So,
the striker is the person who is gonna, move the ball probably forward more than anybody else and strike on the goal. So, just so people know, what is a yellow card? Yellow card is so yellow and red cards in soccer operate much. This is from ESPN. Operate much like yellow and red lights on traffic lights. Yellow serves as a warning, and red signals a complete stop. So how does a player earn a yellow card? A number of actions can result in a yellow card: a reckless tackle, arguing with an official, faking an injury. What happens? You receive 2 yellow cards in a single match, equates to a red card, and an automatic and immediate ejection. A red card is much more serious. A referee uses it to discipline players. And how does a player get a red card? A player can receive a red card for a wide range of misconduct, unsportsmanlike behavior during a match, violent actions, abusive, offensive, insulting language, spitting, or deliberately denying the opposing team. And what are the consequences? The consequences can be significantly detrimental to a team. Players who receive a red card are immediately ejected from the field of play and are unable to compete in the remainder of the match. In the FIFA World Cup, players are also banned from starting in the next match. Once a player is ejected, the manager of the offending team may not replace them with another player. So the team must compete with one fewer player than the opposing team for the rest of the match. That's kind of major. So really bad. So then the news comes that he's going to be reinstated. So here it is, inside the White House push to get Flo Balogun back on the field. This is the writer from Politico that put together a timeline here. Her name's Sophia Kai. So here it is. Wednesday, this is last Wednesday, after the US-Bosnia match, Andrew Giuliani alerted Trump to the red card. Trump and Giuliani have been talking multiple times a week since the start of the World Cup, and regular before that. Wednesday night, Giuliani and Lutnick and U.S. soccer officials began activating on plans to challenge the red card.
And sorry, Howard Lutnick, friends, is the Secretary of Commerce. It is very unclear why Howard Lutnick
is he even
involved in this, but okay.
Right. And Andrew Giuliani, I believe he has a role, right? He's like part of like the
I don't even know.
US something or other.
He's Rudy's ne'er-do-well.
Yeah, he's like some Nepo baby was given a role that he's unqualified for, and that's why he's there. So that kicked off 4 days of coordinated lobbying, legal maneuvering, and diplomacy that stretched from the Oval Office to Zurich. On Thursday, Trump dialed Gianni Infantino, who's the head of FIFA, and asked about FIFA's rules about the red card decision and grounds for suspension, because they've known each other so long, and the Peace Prize and all of that, right?
Oh, there's much more.
Oh, there's much more, and Julie's going to tell us all about it. FIFA declined to confirm any specific discussions, but reiterated to Politico that the decision to suspend the one-match ban was made by an independent disciplinary committee. At U.S. Soccer's legal team formally prepared and submitted an appeal to FIFA, Giuliani and Howard Lutnick offered to make White House attorneys available to assist. Why is the White House getting involved in this? This is crazy. At the same time, Giuliani and Scott Goodwin, a hedge fund manager who had helped pay the salary of Mauricio Pochettino, zeroed in on the officiating history of referee Rafael Klaus, which I'll show you guys about that. Articles examining previous controversies, including Klaus, circulated among senior government officials as they evaluated every argument they could. On the FIFA side, Emilio Garcia oversees the legal affairs of FIFA, advised Infantino on the available procedures. Garcia and other FIFA officials worked to determine whether the circumstances of Balogun's tackle met the narrow standards that would allow the disciplinary decision to be revisited. And then by Sunday, yesterday, FIFA announced that match suspension FIFA insisted the decision was an independent one made by its 18-person disciplinary committee, but it would not say whether the decision was decided through a vote, and it has not published a report on the decision. So even more importantly here is the player himself. Who is he? He was born in Brooklyn. Why was he born in Brooklyn? Let's talk about that, shall we? He was born to Nigerian parents. Then he moved to London at a year old and has spent his life, overseas. Why? Because his parents were on vacation in the United States in the summer of 2001. His mother was pregnant. And when they got back on the plane to go back, the flight attendants, the airlines said, no, this was in July of 2001. You have to stay. You are too pregnant to travel. So his mother, Florence, when she tried to return to London, she ended up giving birth in that July of 2001 in Brooklyn, stayed at her sister-in-law's place for about 2 months, and then flew home with her newborn, who is Flo. All of that is because of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, which enshrines the concept of birthright citizenship to people like Flo. And because of that, and because of Stephen Miller and Donald Trump's opposition to that amendment in the Constitution, they tried to overthrow that, and the decision came down just a number of days ago. So the irony here that is the reason even on the team in the first place. Julia Ioffe said, she goes, the irony calling FIFA to overturn the red card for him because he knows the U.S. can't win without him, who only qualifies for the U.S. team because of birthright citizenship, which Trump just tried to overturn. And then there's the referee who has been investigated for a corrupt pass. And anybody who knows the referees in FIFA are a whole nother corrupt piece of this. But yeah, so this came in, I think was sometime early last night. It was the first time since 1992 that FIFA has nullified the suspension of a red card received during the World Cup. And it's been reported now in many of these publications, which I have, and I can show people. There's about 3 phone calls, I believe. Now, when else, Julie, has Donald Trump made phone calls, perfect phone calls, to members of, I don't know, Georgia government or Ukraine leadership, trying to do quid pro quos to get his way, not in writing, but over a phone call?
So, thank you for that wonderful setup. I just want people to know I did not get much sleep last night because I did a whole deep dive, and I invite you to go to my Substack and read it if you want, or I could just tell you for free right now, about the corrupt relationship between Donald Trump and Gianni Infantino. So understand, Infantino became the head of FIFA because the previous head was so corrupt that he ran an anti-corruption platform.
Right.
This is going to blow your mind, the corruption. And I don't know why it's not talked about more. And I don't know, even in the context of this red card, why what I'm about to say is not talked about more. So I'm very happy that we're talking about it today. First of all, let me just say, not because I love soccer, but because I grew up with a soccer obsessed father, and because I have a soccer obsessed son. I know more about soccer than I've ever wanted to know.
Everything you've learned is against your will.
Everything I've learned is against my will. However, I have learned it. And I will say that I think that red card was bullshit, because it wasn't done on purpose. It wasn't.
Right.
So let me just start with that. However, it was given, and the United States had the right to appeal it. But the point is that Belgium, which plays the United States today, was not counting on him being on the field today, Balogun being on the field today.
Mm-hmm.
And it is deeply unfair to the Belgian team to throw this in their face less than 24 hours before a match.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. It's not right. And I say that as an American who's rooting for Team USA and I'm thrilled that Team USA has gotten this far. Like, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not right. So what happened? Donald Trump ruins everything. As your former boss says,
everything Trump touches dies.
He has fucked this up for Team USA, which frankly should have either played without Balogun or, well, first of all, they should have appealed this to the normal channels, but either played without him and taken the loss with pride, or won and taken the win with pride, right?
Imagine how much more it would have meant to play without him and to win.
Right. But that's not what happened. What happened was that Trump understands the difference very well about what happened, right? There is a difference between a process that applies equally to everyone. I mean, can you imagine if Cape Verde or anybody else had the situation?
Right.
Infantino would not have done this for any other team. Because there's a difference between a process that applies to everyone equally and the most powerful man in the world picking up the phone to the head of the organization, making the decision.
Right.
Especially when that most powerful man in the world also happens to have incredible power over whether that organization will have a smooth tournament or will have to deal with, I don't know, ICE agents checking everybody's papers at every match. ICE has not been at these tournaments. They say they have been, but they haven't been. They haven't been bothering anybody. They haven't been pulling people over.
And we would have heard about it. Honestly.
Well, I would have explained why, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to explain why.
Yep.
Because for Trump, every institution is a relationship. Everything's personal for him. Every rule is an obstacle to be waived for friends and enforced against enemies. And every independent body, which is FIFA, is just a collection of people, Infantino, who can be pressured or flattered or threatened or called on to perform a favor. So just that's the context in which the president of the United States picked up the phone and called Gianni Infantino, the FIFA president, who, as Michelle mentioned, created a peace prize for his, and I quote, quote unquote, close friend, the president of the United States, right? And let me just tell you about what's happening with Infantino. In 2025, last year, a formal complaint accused him of violating FIFA's political neutrality rules after FIFA awarded Trump again, Michelle talked about this, inaugural FIFA Peace Prize, right? You have Norway, you have other countries joining in and saying this is completely inappropriate because FIFA has very specific political neutrality rules. You don't give Donald Trump I don't know what the fuck the FIFA Peace Prize is, but it's the inaugural and it's one and done, friends.
Right.
One and done. I guarantee you the president of Spain or the king of Morocco or the head of like the World Cup is being hosted by Spain, Morocco, Portugal, and I think maybe Brazil. I don't know. The point is, in 4 years, none of these people are getting the inaugural fucking Peace Prize. Let's just start with that.
Right.
Then, right, Infantino attended Trump's inauguration. What? Why? And he repeatedly visits the White House in Mar-a-Lago. The relationship became so conspicuous that the International Olympic Committee, the IOC, another deeply corrupt organization, this is so corrupt that even the IOC was like, whoa, this is too corrupt for us. Because he sits on the IOC, Infantino sits on the IOC, examine whether Infantino had breached his own duty of political independence after Infantino joined Trump's Board of Peace event last November.
Right there. There he is in a USA hat.
The Board of Peace, friends. What the hell is the head of FIFA doing at Trump's deeply corrupt Board of Peace, where the entry is $1 billion for Trump to manage any way he wants? It's basically Trump's slush fund that he created, that for some reason Gianni Infantino decided he was going to join as the head of FIFA. At that event, Infantino signed a partnership agreement on behalf of FIFA, that could invest, ready for this, $75 million in Gaza reconstruction, i.e. Jared Kushner's little dream of putting resorts up on the Mediterranean Sea in Gaza City. What the fuck? Sorry, Dad, who's probably watching because he sent me a lot of notes from our Saturday show. What the fuck?
I got some texts from my dad too.
Yeah.
So.
Well, mine were all factually how I got everything wrong. Okay. Including that Cape Verde is not technically in Africa. What is he doing at the board of FIFA, at the board of peace, investing $75 million in a Gaza reconstruction plan? What, friends, does this have to do with soccer? What? I don't know. Then people may not know this, and I can't believe nobody's talking about this. Last year, even more outrageously, FIFA leased space, and is still leasing it, on the 17th floor of Trump Tower in New York, which has sat largely empty ever since, which means that rent at FIFA's expense flowed to Trump's family's business for nothing, not a thing. Why, you might ask? I don't know, but Infantino personally chose the location. This didn't go through some committee. Gianni Infantino decided of all the places he was going to set up shop, it was going to be on the 17th floor of Trump Tower. But wait, he didn't really set up shop there because the space is sitting empty. It is literally a slush fund to feed money to the Trump family. During Trump's impeachment in 2019, Infantino insisted on introducing him at the World Economic Forum, giving him his blessing, while back home here in the United States, the United States Congress was debating whether Trump had obstructed justice and abuse of power. And at that event, Infantino said the following. I only wish I had the clip. "You may wonder why the president of FIFA was introducing the president of the United States." And then he joked that it was because he and Trump are the two most powerful, important people at Davos. Now, sit for this. Back in 2015, the Obama Justice Department opened a sprawling investigation into world soccer and indicted a tremendous number of people for corruption and obstruction of justice.
Which, again, go watch the Netflix documentary.
Right.
It's very informative.
Right. They indicted senior soccer officials for sports marketing executives. It was a sprawling racketeering, wire fraud, and money laundering case. Okay. That was in 2015. After Infantino talked up Trump at Davos in the midst of his impeachment hearing, after he sat there and sucked up to Trump, a few months after that, after Davos, he paid a quote unquote courtesy visit to Bill Barr, who was then Trump's attorney general, which is a remarkable visit in light of the fact that there was this racketeering investigation happening in the Justice Department. And of course, my friends, after everything Michelle just showed, after everything we talked about, 2 months ago, the Justice Department dropped charges against 2 defendants in this case. And the fate of the larger case is unclear because, appearing in court, the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District here in New York said that the long-term and sprawling investigation into corruption in world soccer, and I quote, doesn't fit with the administration's priorities. This investigation was costing FIFA a tremendous amount of money. It is on its way to being erased. It goes on. I mean, I told you I did this. I did not get any sleep last night. For that reason, the more makeup Julie is on, the less sleep she has gotten.
As our viewer in the chat, Ask Una, says, Julie knows stuff. And
Julie knows stuff because Julie doesn't sleep. Infantino, who created the Club World Cup, right, that happened last year for the world's best team. Remember when Trump stole Chelsea's trophy?
Yeah.
Announced the tournament from the Oval Office. And bizarrely, he credited Trump as the co-creator of the Club World Cup. What? After the tournament, Infantino allowed Trump to keep the original, very valuable Tiffany & Co., the Tiffany Trophy that he stole from the winners. The actual champions, Chelsea, to my friends in London, received a replica. Chelsea, remember, beat PSG, Paris Saint-Germain, received a replica because, according to Trump, FIFA had given the real trophy to him to keep in the Oval Office, and I quote, forever. You think it's going to be the Oval Office forever? Or you think Trump's taking that to Mar-a-Lago as soon as he leaves?
It's like the Qatar plane. Oh, it's going to my library.
Yeah.
Like
Infantino's corrupt relationship with Trump is so close, my friends, that he tagged along with Trump on his 2025 trip to the Persian Gulf. Remember when Trump went to visit all his corrupt friends in the Persian Gulf? Missing the start of a really critical FIFA conference in South America in the process. He did not show up to his own conference because he was so busy sucking up to Trump. So these are two men who understand each other. To them, everything is access, leverage, a deal. So is it any surprise that Trump picked up the phone and called the president of FIFA about one player's disciplinary suspension, and soon afterward, the suspension was poof, gone?
It's almost like, find me 11,780 votes, please. You know what I mean? Like it's the perfect phone call. That's what I tweeted last night. Like we talked about the phone calls that he had. I was like, I'm sure they were the perfect phone calls. Because this again is like Donald Trump operates like a mob boss. And when you have a mob boss who has no morals, no moral compass whatsoever when it comes to literally anything. There is nothing that he won't do for anything that will benefit him in some way, whether it's monetarily or by way of power or his ego. And I think about this, Julie, as like, my life before politics, I was in the arts and I was an actor and I was a singer and all these things. I've always wanted an Emmy. Okay. I love the Emmys. It's a beautiful statue. I think it's the best one. If I had an Emmy sitting back here that wasn't mine, and that I did not deserve.
You did win a bunch of Emmys, Michelle.
No, I didn't.
Oh, they won Webbies. Sorry,
I don't have it.
Yeah.
Trust me.
All right.
It'd be all over here.
Right.
But if I did have one and it was sitting back here and it wasn't mine, that would be really embarrassing. That would be like, oh, that's so sad. It would be like Sunset Boulevard. Do you know what I mean? Like just living in my house, like living this alternate reality that doesn't even exist. This is what Donald Trump does. He has always wanted a Purple Heart. And he said this to a veteran who like didn't have legs. And he was like, oh, I've always wanted a Purple Heart. Oh, thanks. I didn't even have to do anything for it. He talked about the other night on the 4th of July when he was having to delay his fireworks that he was going to give the speech. And he then compared himself giving the speech in the rain to the young men who stormed the beaches in Normandy during World War II. This is a man. This is how he looks at the world. And so this is no different. It's so horribly embarrassing. And also in one of these articles that I had teed up as well, I think at the end of it says that they're breaking precedent in the World Cup this year, breaking precedent and having Donald Trump go on stage to be part of the trophy presenting ceremony for the winning team. That never happens. And again, for that tournament last year, which I can't remember which one, he went on stage trying to do that. And, in soccer, they go, with the trophy. He was standing there and the captain of the team, like, looked at Donald Trump like, what are you doing here? And was like, get out of here. He's like, you don't need to be here anymore. I think was what he said, and pushed him out of the way, essentially. And he was like kind of embarrassed. That's not going to happen here because Donald Trump is going to make it all about him. And it's going to be at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, in your home state of New Jersey. And one has to wonder, these are the things that Julie has been able to uncover. What's also out there that we don't know about?
But I have to just put this in perspective to all our friends from, we have a bunch of people from Canada. I just saw my wonderful cousin, Julie Chender, join from Canada. Hi, Julie. But we have friends here from Australia. We have friends here from
England,
the UK. We have friends here from Holland, all over the place. So I just want to put this in perspective because as an American, I am outraged. And frankly, I think everybody should just boycott games with Team USA or Team USA should do the right thing and not play Balogun. Like I know you want to win. That's your job. You've been dragged into this kind of
even the coach, the American coach has been put in this really awkward position where he's like, but doesn't want to do this.
But imagine if the situation were reversed. Forget this World Cup in 4 years that's taking place in countries that are not particularly corrupt. But in 2034, the World Cup is being played in Saudi Arabia, which is, deeply corrupt. Imagine if the United States were preparing for a knockout match against Saudi Arabia in 2034, and one of Saudi Arabia's best players had been suspended. Then imagine that MBS, Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman called his old friend Gianni Infantino, and suddenly the player was back. Would we just shrug and be like, oh, okay, justice was done? Like, look, rules matter most when they cost your side something.
Mm-hmm.
And victories matter because they were earned. Now, the United States may very well earn its victory tonight against Belgium.
But even so,
but it will have an asterisk on it.
Always.
And what drives me insane is that everything Trump touches, he should not have been anywhere near the World Cup, but it becomes part of the Trump show because everything has to be brought into his orbit, right? The World Cup couldn't just belong to the American people. The team's success could not simply belong to the players and coaches and millions of fans. Trump had to inject himself and make it personal. He had to make the call so he could receive the gratitude. He had to turn himself into the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's and for the Americans who are watching this, who are like, yeah, soccer, whatever, every 4 years we pretend to care
about
about
soccer. It's not about soccer.
It's not about that. I mean, but it is. And I think about also like the geopolitical ramifications of, well, it's just like another stain on the United States. In addition to all the other shit that Donald Trump has been doing, it's like threatening to pull out of NATO. Like that World of Peace thing is supposed to be like somehow in place of NATO in his mind with all of his corrupt, horrible friends. It's wanting to annex Canada. It's wanting to invade Greenland. It's going into Venezuela. It's
Iran.
It's Iran. It's bombing fishing boats off the coast of the Caribbean. I mean, like it goes. I mean, and also threatening to invade Mexico at some point. It's
Cuba.
It's all of Cuba. I mean, Jesus Christ, right? It's like it's never ending, and he will not stop. There's nothing about Donald Trump that has ever shown us in his 80 years on planet Earth that he will ever stop. There is nothing that could ever stop him. But there's also this, and it goes back to the trophy thing and like not earning things. This man cheats on his wives. He cheats in elections. He cheats at golf. He cheats at everything he does. And this is no different. And if the Americans continue on, which it seems like we probably will, at least, in tonight's game, there will always be, like Julie said, that stain of cheating, which I don't know about you, but like I can't, it makes me ill. The thought of it. It's not right. It's not the way we should be doing things, but unfortunately it is. He's a cheater. And I think also, who else? There's a lot of Russians too that have office space or apartments or whatever.
Oh, I mean, we could have a whole set. We could have a whole separate subject live about how the Russians are washing money through all of his properties, not just not just the Trump Tower, but
another right.
But look, I got to go back to this. This is a microcosm, truly a microcosm of what Trump does to the United States, right? He takes something that belongs to all of us and he makes it dirty.
Yeah, dirty is the right word.
And he takes something that's joyful and he makes it ugly. And he takes something that's innocent. And I'm not suggesting world soccer is innocent because it's certainly not. But these players are there to play. Like they're there to play. And
the fans are there too.
And at some point you got to wonder, was this all set up? That he got a red card, which he never deserved, so that Trump can swoop in and save the day? Like, is that how corrupt this all is?
I had not considered that, but now that you're saying it,
because
I'm like,
it was such a weird red card. Like it was such an undeserved red card. Like the fact that we're even having this. I mean, could you imagine if we were having this discussion under Joe Biden?
Oh my God.
Or George Bush. I mean, or Ronald Reagan. Like this is not even partisan. No. It's just a deeply corrupt man. And you have to question these things. And like the fact that we're even questioning this. And I made this point in my Substack and I kind of want to make it here.
Yeah. Please.
Maybe FIFA's decision was legally defensible under its rules, right? Because FIFA maintains that it's an independent disciplinary body and that it made the determination, not Infantino himself. But even that makes the point more perfect. this is what corruption does, right? It doesn't always require somebody to hand you a paper bag full of cash, although having an office in Trump Tower where you don't work is pretty much handing somebody a bag of cash, right? Sometimes, very often actually, corruption is simply the destruction of trust. It's the moment when nobody can know whether a decision was made on the merits or because the right person called the right person.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, the result itself becomes tainted.
Yeah.
And it's not just about soccer, because Trump has done this throughout, right? He's eradicated the line between legitimate power and personal favor. A prosecution involving an enemy, was it the law or was it Trump? Like, we don't know. Maybe the person did something wrong. Like John Bolton's a great example, right? John Bolton clearly did something he shouldn't have done. But would he have been indicted for this thing? Or, did he get indicted because Trump hates him? Like, we don't know, right?
Or would anybody, right? Or if one of Trump's like friends had done this, it would have been like,
it would have been,
like,
look at the Epstein files, right?
Right.
So like a regulatory decision affecting an ally, was it policy or was it Trump? Was there a pardon, a contract, a merger, an investigation, appointment? Was it a legitimate process, or does somebody pick up the phone to skew the outcome?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we think we know the answer, but there's occasionally just enough plausible deniability, right? Like an independent grand jury indicted somebody. It's not that Trump magically, waved a magic wand. Like, they could always point to the fact that a grand jury indicted one of his enemies, right? Or there's a judicial ruling. The Supreme Court said it was okay, right? That's not Trump, it's the court. We can't be absolutely sure, and that's the poison of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And this is just another example of this. That's the part that kills me, because Trump has spent years teaching Americans and the rest of the world that nothing is truly independent. Nothing's genuinely impartial. No institution exists beyond the reach of personal power. And, for any American who cheers this on because all you want to do is win tonight against Belgium, right? You're cheering us on because you like the outcome. But think about this, right? Republicans cheer this on because it's their guy that got the pardon or the approval.
Right.
And we can't survive for long in the principle that corruption is fine as long as it's our side that benefits. So I will be rooting for Belgium tonight if they play Balogun.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I think he got an incredibly unfair red card.
Mm-hmm.
I will be rooting for Belgium. And it kills me to say that as an American.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think Belgium's really boring. Sorry. Bruges is a lovely town. Brussels is deadly. But I will still be rooting for Belgium. And if by any chance the United States beats Belgium tonight, I'll be rooting for whoever they're playing next. And ultimately, I didn't want to say this before, but I was rooting for Team USA, but now allez le bleu, which is why I'm wearing blue today. Done. Fini.
Not to make light of this, but I saw this tweet last night. Joe and I got back late and we have no food in the house. So we went out to grab a burger and we're flipping through Twitter, like giggling at some of the tweets. And this one got me. It says, I feel like I've never been on the receiving side of blatant corruption and abuse of power. This is thrilling. Like, making light of it, because it's like most of us here would never dream of doing this, but like, oh, we're benefiting from it instead of being on the, on the bad end. And, again, to your point, that made me want to pull that up because, we've been on the horrible receiving end of Donald Trump's horrible corruption. And we are here too, even though it may ultimately benefit in a win or whatever it is, it will be the poison that Julie's talking about. Because, I think let's look at just the litany of things. Like he's now putting a helipad on the south lawn of the White House. He tore down the East Wing. He's talking about the West Wing. And don't be surprised when that happens, folks. The 4th of July fireworks, which are only supposed to be, like, again, a beautiful thing that should have brought all of us together, was the 250th birthday of this country. But instead, we had to deal with Donald Trump and his chaos and leaving people out in the rain, his people, which was very reminiscent of leaving his people out in like the cold on a tarmac or airfield or whatever in Omaha back in October of 2020 and sent people to the hospital. He doesn't give a shit. And then you look at the fireworks display. There is no beauty in what happened in DC. There was no like creativity. It was just boom, blowing things up for 40 minutes with 850,000 fireworks, which, by the way, there was so much smoke in the air that by the end of the fireworks, you couldn't even see the fireworks. It looked like DC had been nuked because it was just like a boom. Like, but this is it. He's the bull in the china shop, and he just destroys everything in his path. Everything that is beautiful, everything that would bring us together as a country, as people. He destroys it and he poisons it. And it's like, how
including the woman behind me,
right?
which is what this all stands for.
Yeah. And you know, our friend Nina Jankowicz, you know, wrote something on one of her social media accounts. I can't remember which one, you know, because the Ukrainians celebrated the birthday of the United States and put like a flag, you know, projection up on that statue. I'm sure that you know what it is and I don't. It was quite beautiful and a tribute to the United States, you know, the longest, you know, living democracy. And Nina said, you know, I hope that next time JD Vance asks Zelensky if we've properly thanked him or the people of Ukraine, that they show him that photograph, because we've done more to, or they've done more to honor the people of this country than Donald Trump has. And
as did the French with a beautiful light show, the Statue of Liberty, and which the French gifted to the United States.
Yes.
You know, this is what I'm talking about. You like, he has forced us to root against the United States quite literally today. Quite literally. And Robert Carr, you guys,
yeah, I don't know about that.
You guys in the United States are not, in the UK are not the longest democracy, my friend. You have a monarch. You have a monarchy. I mean, at the end of the day, the head of your government. I know you elect your people democratically, but
you do now.
At the end of the day,
after we started,
at the end of the day, you're subjects. You're not. Yeah.
Right.
No, you started it first. You started electing people first. But again, you have a House of Lords that you just recently allowed, you know, got rid of the I can't even speak, hereditary stuff. Like, no. It's a democracy, but at the end of the day, you're a subject. You're not a citizen.
Yeah.
Love Britain.
Love the Brits.
Would move to London tomorrow if I could, but it doesn't sit well with me that you're a subject and not a citizen.
Yeah. You deserve more, Robert.
You deserve more. You deserve more than to answer to really inbred people who, you know, all intermarried with each other for generations.
By the way,
I mean, listen, we have Donald Trump, so I'm not suggesting we're better. In fact, I would take
I would take what he wants.
I would take the king over Donald Trump any day of the week. But my point is, it's actually worse for us. We actually elected this asshole. You guys just, you guys just, you know,
you get stuck with them.
You have no choice with who you get stuck.
Right. And I also just want to say again, like the beautiful things that we have here, like sports and art and, you know, and progress that should bring us all together. And I think about sports as a bigger picture here in the United States, right? Is we have an even bigger problem, which again, this microcosm of what's happening, you know, with FIFA and Trump really trickles down into kids sports. Like, what is happening with kids sports in the United States? And Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut has talked about this, and he's raised this, is that private equity has taken over kids sports to the point that it has become this unaffordable thing for regular people to enjoy and have their kids partake in and learn from and grow from. It's corrupt. It's corrupt. And it's unfortunately, a very American thing that is starting to happen more and more and more in our sports. You know, it's awful. It's awful. It makes me very sad.
We could do a whole separate show about kids sports because I am knee deep in it. And oh my God.
I don't know how y'all do it. I was like, when I was a kid, it was like you went to the high school's soccer camp or you went to the YMCA and like it was like $30 or something. You know what I mean?
I have spent my summer traveling the country for squash, and I will continue to spend the rest of my summer traveling country for squash. And I informed my husband, who you can imagine was thrilled to hear it, that for the next 4 years, we will not be spending, or at least I will not be spending weekends at the only place that makes us super happy, which is, you know, we have a house out in Pennsylvania that we go every weekend, but I won't see it for the next 4 years because I had a long chat with a squash coach at a very good university last week and was given marching orders as to what to do. And I will be traveling not just the United States, but the world to go to tournaments. Friends from the UK, I'll see you at the UK Squash Open, the British Squash Open. I think it's in London. Come by and say hello. I might even make it to Australia. It is a nightmare and it is so expensive. And I don't know how people do it who don't don't have parents like me who literally are crazy tiger moms and torture, you know, their children. Well, I don't torture. He likes doing it, but yeah.
Rosie was talking about doing ballroom dancing and how it was expensive, but nothing. It's the same with, listen, theater has become, musical theater, what has become a career path for rich kids. It used to be the complete opposite. It was, you know, people would go to college for it. Maybe they wouldn't. They'd move to New York. They'd learn in studio and classes and stuff and audition. That is not the case anymore. To go to these BFA programs for 4-year program, like at the University of Michigan or Syracuse or whatever it is, costs $80,000 a year. What kid can afford that and then go out into a world that has no work? It's crazy. It makes me very angry. But like, again, like this is just a bigger, you know, this FIFA corruption is just another example of all of this. And somebody said in the comments, it makes sports and things like that elitist. And like, it shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be that way. Sports is for all of us, no matter who you are.
Sports is for all of us. Actually, there's a great program in New York City for anybody who has somebody that they might be interested called Street Squash, which they take kids from underserved communities. And not only do they teach them squash, which is a fairly, you know, expensive game to play just because you need court time, but also they give them tutors. It's a whole after school program. They spend hours there playing squash, helping with homework. It's in Spanish Harlem. And it's fantastic. Colombia's squash team actually plays there, which is great. But so it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But yes, traveling teams killed sports 100%.
Like travel soccer is like a whole
well, that's why my son stopped playing soccer, because it was like either travel soccer or like his coach said to him when he was 10 years old, and I'm not kidding, because my son was a striker and he was very, very good. My coach, and I made him skip a couple of practices, more than a couple, because he was having tests the next day, and I was like, you better stay home and study for your test.
Yeah.
His coach said to him, if you don't take soccer seriously at school, I don't know what you're doing here. And I was like, he's never going to take soccer seriously at school. So bye-bye. We'll see you later. But that was, and he was 10 years old. 10 years old. All right, friends. On that wonderful note, it was so great talking soccer and FIFA and corruption and Trump with all of you. I love that we did something that's a little bit, you know.
Yeah, but it's just, again, like Trump just seems to make his way into every facet of our lives and culture and take a piss on it, quite frankly.
It's the worst, the fucking worst. Yeah. All right. Great to see everybody. Friends. We will see you soon.
And also I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to say, like, you know, a lot of times we jump into these things and jump out, and I always forget that we have to promote ourselves. So please, if you're watching us on Substack, please subscribe or follow us on Substack, the Mayday Network, or follow us on and subscribe on YouTube. We also put all of these in video and audio form on Apple Podcasts. So you can find all of this content on Apple Podcasts, and I hope that you will go there. If you want to leave us a nice little review, we also love that, because that helps us. So I just wanted to
if you have a few bucks to throw us on Mayday, that would be really wonderful, because we're trying to hire somebody to do clips so that Michelle doesn't have to die.
So that I have the creative energy. I'm sure people have noticed I can't like make these videos as much anymore, because like I literally don't have the space inside of my soul to do them. And being able to hire someone to do clips and all the other administrative stuff would be very helpful.
Yeah. So if anybody has a few bucks to subscribe to the Mayday Network, we would really, really, really appreciate it. Okay. On that note, we will see everybody really soon. Have a great day. Allez le Belge. I don't know what else to say. I don't know who they are, what their colors are. So I'll just say Allez le Belge tonight. And if I could say it in both their languages, I would. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Have a good one.